This is 5 Minute Friday on the Krohn&Borg AI crafted beer. Welcome back to the Super Data Science Podcast. I'm your host, Jon Krohn. First of all, thanks to Pyramid Analytics for selecting Super Data Science as #1 on their list of best data podcasts to listen to in 2024. We've got their full post for you to check out in the show notes, but it's awesome to be on the list with several other podcasters I revere and have recently had the honor of having as guests on the show. Some of those people include Sadie St. Lawrence, Margot Gerritsen, and Cole Nussbaumer-Knaflic, who was our guest in the preceding episode of this show, number 757. Thanks to everyone out there, actually, for all the recent 5-star ratings on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other podcasting platforms out there, as well as for likes and comments on our YouTube videos. I appreciate the support and feedback, and the feedback I catch, I will read on air, just like this. All right, so for today's episode, we're doing something different than we've done before. If you've listened to episode number 755 last week with the brewer Beau Warren, then you already know that I collaborated with him on a craft beer that we crafted with AI. So last week, I actually flew to Columbus, Ohio for the launch of Beau's Species X brewery to try our AI-crafted lager myself, and that beer is named Krohn&Borg. And in addition to trying it myself, I also recorded drinkers' reactions as they tried this innovative beer for the first time. If you caught episode number 755 last week, then you already also know that Beau described the experience of having a machine learning model trained to simulate and predict the most delicious beer possible as like having another intelligence amongst us, like aliens coming down. But did it work? Well, Reagan Avon, CEO of Align AI, and our guest on episode number 698, was at the beer launch, and this is what she had to say.
Oh my God, that's so good. I love it. Seriously, that's like delicious. And I'm not a big beer drinker. I have nothing sophisticated to add to that.
And then Kelsey Dingelstedt, the CEO of Women in Analytics and Data Connect Conference, added,
unlike Reagan, I love beer, and I could drink the whole thing also, so it's delicious.
Very nice. And Ali Hagmeyer, the Director of Operations at Path Robotics, concurred as well.
That's delicious. It's smooth. Super smooth? Super smooth, yeah.
For a bit more detail on flavor, Bill McFarland of Omega Yeast, who has many years of professional brewing experience under his belt, was able to articulate deeply about his first sips of the AI-crafted Krohn&Borg beer.
Super tasty, kind of remind me of a lot of the old European beers that you get that are always kind of catch you off guard with surprisingly flavorful, a little bit of that like really fruity, pleasant bite, but also still really easy drinking. Very similar to like a Pilsner or Keller or something like that from the Czech Republic. Yeah, very just welcoming. That's probably the best way to put it.
And tangential, but perhaps of interest to you generally curious listeners, Bill also filled us in on how technologies beyond AI, specifically CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing technologies, can also be used to create new forward-thinking beer experiences.
You actually supply some of the yeast that they use here at Species X. I understand that they're taking an unusual take. So in addition to having AI-crafted beers, their silicon species, they also have these carbon species where they're using things like GMO yeast to get extra properties. Can you fill us in a bit more on that?
Yeah, I mean yeast is arguably kind of the glue that really binds in alcoholic beverages, particularly beer. You get a lot of like flavor and aromatic components that come from the yeast, and particularly with modern science, CRISPR-Cas9. So the yeast lab I work for is Omega Yeast, and so we're essentially, in the lab creating new yeast that behave really friendly in a way that brewers can really take and experiment with, but also introduce new flavor, aromatics, experiences as a whole, and Beau and Species X are really capitalizing on that. Kind of on the forefront of, where our brewery is going to be in the next 5 years.
Finally, Jim Lachey, offensive tackle from the Super Bowl 26 winning, then styled Washington Redskins, who is also the father-in-law of Beau Warren, the head brewer behind Krohn&Borg Lager, had this to say about Beau teaching himself machine learning and applying it diligently to his craft.
No, it's just been a good experience to go through the process because, when he started this, he's banging away at his computer all the time. I'm like, Beau, what are you doing? He goes, I'm inputting recipes. I'm like, okay, what? Then with the AI stuff, which we learned from your guys' podcast, so cool to see that side of what he's doing too. So, hey, we're impressed. He was using some words we've never heard of from him, so we're thinking this is cool.
Well, there you go. So hopefully we'll be able to have cans of Krohn&Borg lager shipped around the US soon. Stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, check out episode number 755 to get all the details on the machine learning approach I collaborated with Beau on to produce this scrumptious AI crafted beer. It's been a delicious project so far, and I hope you found this real-world AI application interesting. Perhaps it even provides inspiration for new ways you could be applying machine learning to your passions. If you did, or you know someone who might, consider sharing this episode with them. Leave a review of the show on your favorite podcasting platform. Tag me in a LinkedIn or Twitter post with your thoughts. I'll respond to those. Or if you haven't already, subscribe to the show. Most importantly, however, we hope you'll just keep on listening. Until next time, keep on rocking it out there, and I'm looking forward to enjoying another round of the Super Data Science Podcast with you very soon.